Another story from the driver's seat. I'm taking some passengers to the port so they can go on a cruise, and they just let me know that they have been together 20 years and they've loved each other for 5 days. Just playing, just playing. But I just always love to hear people who've been together for a long time, and I need to be able to hear from them so they can share what that has been like. Man, they had matching luggage, and that just warmed my heart. So I'm gonna shut up and let these two lovebirds just share just a little bit of what has been the success of this journey you two have been on, because 20 years of marriage is impressive. So please share.
You want to start?
No, you can start.
Look at that. Look at that. When they're like, no, you go, no, you go, no, you go. Now you know that's
You can
love.
go.
So as far as the journey, it's been, ups and downs. We've had some significant ups. We've had some significant downs. We're currently on an upswing. Just life in general, careers, family, everything's going good. Wish we can get our knucklehead son to, start.
Is he a teenager?
No.
He's going to be 21.
Okay.
In,
Okay.
about a month.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Still trying to find his way, but that's just the generation.
You never lie about that.
But as far as like the keys to our success, I personally think it's having fun. We are each other's best friends. We have our friends outside, but it's us against the world. And I think that when you're with your friends, you got to have fun. So we have fun, or we try to have fun in everything we do. Now, obviously, there's going to be those times where it's not fun, where we're not having fun with each other. But we always, as my wife has drilled into me, we don't go to sleep angry.
Oh man, people say that a lot, but has it been? How have you applied that to really feeling? Because emotions kick in, and sometimes you just like, screw it. I've been there. I was married. I've been divorced. So I haven't always been able to uphold that. So have you guys truly been able to uphold that concept of not going to bed angry?
Well, it's being intentional. So it's, even though you don't want to look at that person, you don't want to, if you make an intention to say, I have to do this, we need to talk about it, we need to get through it, then it becomes part of your working on yourself, like working on your marriage. And our marriage is very important to us, so we don't want the little like the negativities to creep in, because I think that's when things start to crumble. But yeah, it's more so just again, just understanding, like, what were we upset about with each other? Is this something that's minor? Is this something that we can work through? And if it's something we can't, there has been times where we have gone to bed upset at each other.
Okay.
And
I
we
don't
just
want to give you no kiss goodnight.
There you go. Keep it real. People got to hear it. It ain't always fluffy. Yeah.
And I want to, I'm like, hey, give me a kiss. And he turns his head and he goes to sleep. And I understand he's not ready. He's not ready to have the conversation that needs to be discussed at that time. And I respect that. But I will bring it back up at some point, and he'll do the same, because it's like we've been together too long for us to, have anger or be upset. Yeah.
That is freaking phenomenal. I want to hear something that people don't probably get to hear, and that's the rough part. In the 20 years, you probably had something rough. You don't have to go overly detailed if you don't want to, but can you think back to like what was one of the hardest moments you guys had in a relationship, whether it was financial frustration, whether frustrated with a kid and disagreeing, maybe it was family, but think about something that created some turmoil or some contention between you two, and what was it like going through it and coming out of it?
We've had some really significant downs, just like we have had some significant ups. Some of the details are probably not to be shared.
I get it. Respect that.
I will say there have been times where we both have been like, hey, you know what? Maybe this just ain't working. Maybe this is not it.
Okay.
And I would say there's actually been a time where we had to go to counseling.
Which is good.
We had to go to marriage counseling.
Thank goodness for that.
Yeah. Thank goodness for it, because I think that counseling session, actually, we still use some of the things today.
We've learned. And we haven't been in over 10, I think this was over 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Then it sounds like you actually had a good therapist. Sometimes it takes us a minute to find that therapist we can truly connect with, and they really get us, and you
Yeah,
get
at
them.
first I
So,
thought she was a little, but I think some of the tools that she gave us is really what has helped us, and it's more for me. I know something is just being able to listen to your spouse. It's not
mm.
always about you, and it's like when we would talk to
Hold
each
on,
other.
say that again for the other ladies might be listening. Say it's not always about who?
It's not always about you. It's not.
Woo!
It's not always about you.
Okay.
And me, it took a little bit to really understand. And she picked up on some things where when him and I would talk, and I would talk over him, or I would not let him finish his thought, she would stop me right there and say, "Do you see what you're doing?" And I'm like,
Mm.
"No, what am I doing?
Oh wow!
You are interrupting."
You
Yeah.
couldn't even
So
see it. That's
yeah, it didn't.
powerful.
Yeah. So stuff like yeah.
And for me, I think, we as men sometimes have difficulty expressing ourselves.
Yep.
And whether that is our thoughts, our emotions, whatever the case may be, I think that was the biggest takeaway from those counseling sessions with her. It's like, hey, look, sometimes you just got to put it on the table, because what's the alternative? The alternative is walking away. I never want to walk away without really having put everything that's in me into it,
Powerful.
putting it all on the table.
Yep.
And a lot of times we don't share as men because sometimes we feel like we're going to be judged for our thoughts. Oh, that's not manly. Oh, that's not gangster. Oh, that's not whatever it is you're trying to be, right? This woman is my ride or die. If I can't tell her what's in my head as it's in my head, I can't tell anybody. I have nobody in this world.
Ooh,
and so,
okay.
Yeah,
that's
he
the
actually,
concept.
I know this might sound strange. It was like if a lady's walking by, he was like, "Oh my gosh, she is so pretty. Look at her body." And I'm like, "Oh, okay, glad you noticed that." And I'm not going to jump down his throat. I'm like, he's telling me he's vulnerable to share what he's thinking, and I don't judge. I'm like, okay.
Is a fact. If she bad, she bad.
That is
going nowhere.
That is big of both of you, because that is the reality. We see humans. We see women. Women, we see y'all see men, and they are attracted. You can't deny it. But the fact that you guys are in a relationship to the point where you can express it, and the other person's not mad, that is awesome, and that is needed.
And it's because, think about it like this: the minute that you have to hide what you think, you already messed up. So.
All right, so you guys would just let me know just the beautiful way that you're able to just talk freely when it comes to, if you see somebody and they look attractive, you can tell the person, and you know that, hey, they aren't stepping away, they aren't stepping out, they just comment on what they see, and you were literally just saying, look, if you're trying to hide it, then that's the real problem. So y'all don't have to hide anything from each other, and that is freaking a great, really a great tool that you guys can use, and just staying transparent in a relationship.
Yeah, I mean, if you're willing to tell somebody, I don't like you right now, you should be willing to tell somebody, hey, I love you. Hey, that person's hot. Hey, you see that guy over there? I think he's checking you out. We are a team.
And he's my best friend, so that's a really big component. Like, I would talk to him like I'm talking to any of my girlfriends, or things like that. So I think it makes it a little easier and comforting, where it's like, you are my friend. I would tell my friends all the things.
But I want to explore more about this best friend concept.
Yeah.
Like, people hear this, hey, I want my husband or wife to be my best friend. For you guys, when did this kick in? Were you best friends at engagement? Were you best friends before engagement? Were you best friends like maybe 1 to 5 years into the marriage? How did you come to the realization you are my best friend?
I'd probably say it took some. It was a few years into the marriage, actually. And I think we grew into it because we never really lived together before we were married. So
okay, it's interesting to hear.
We did for a short period of time,
right?
But once you really are cohabitating every day with that person, and at the time we had an infant, so we were starting our marriage with a baby, with an infant,
right?
So we had to lean on each other because we didn't really have too much family around. So we just leaned on each other, and I just enjoy him as a human.
Okay.
And do you feel the same?
Yeah. Like you said, it was probably a good 5 years into the relationship. I don't know if there's really a point at which you can say aha, you're my best friend. It just, you wake up and you realize, yeah, you've been my best friend the whole time.
All right.
But that realization, maybe 3 to 5 years in.
All right, man. That is good to know. Powerful. Look, I'm almost about to drop these amazing folks off for their trip, but I want to get some closing thoughts. Like I said, I've been married and divorced. I learned a lot of my lessons after the divorce, unfortunately. But what are some parting words of wisdom that you would share? Because you guys even mentioned there were some moments when you were like, man, maybe we should just call it quits. So what could you share with some folks to make sure that they don't call it quits, they keep pushing, and that it's worth it to stay together? What would you say?
The number one thing is just understand why you did it. Why people don't get married just to get married. So if you think about why and think about all the times you've had with this other person, whether it's a couple of years, that time is valuable. Your time is valuable. Their time is valuable. And understanding that nothing in life is easy and everything takes work. So having that mindset of, hey, marriage is work. I'm not even going to sugarcoat. Marriage is a job. Marriage is work.
Mm-hmm.
And if you want to be that top on the job, you got to put the work into it. So
I'll say something that I think will resonate with both men and women, both positively and negatively. Uh, Sex is a necessary part of your relationship, but it is not the most important.
Woo! Okay. What top sex? What top stack? Come on, I want to hear from the man's perspective. What top sex?
Uh, Intimacy, connection, and most importantly, trust. I need to know I can trust this woman with my life, with my children's life. That beats sex hands down all the time. Now, again, sex is necessary, but think about it as, being out in the streets. You running your game. If you can't trust the person you laying with, how can you go to sleep after you handle business? You can't. How can you handle business without thinking about somebody's about to run up on you or this person's about to do something to you? Trust is key.
Man, I love that, especially from the man's perspective. Sex is not intimacy. We gotta understand that as men, sex does not mean intimacy. And sounds like you have grown to understand and learn that. And I know your wife appreciates that you understand intimacy and the difference.
Sometimes it's just touch,
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's just letting them know you see them, you feel them, you are there for them, and you getting the same in return.
Man, that is beautiful. I thank you guys so much. You have imparted some great words of wisdom. I am happy for you, cheering for you. Congratulations to coming up to year 20 or 21.
Just past 20.
All right, Congratulations on getting to year 20. I truly appreciate you guys being so open and transparent and just sharing your love experience with folks that are listening. You guys remember, you can find me at Eat Clean, Drive Smooth. But this has been Chef Pat and an amazing couple, just sharing another story from the driver's seat. Thank you so much. Peace.